Hey everyone, welcome to this month's episode of The Possible Show. I am Cruz Santibáñez. This month I had the opportunity to be in Fort Oaks, North Carolina with a family who has been able to recover beautifully from a tragic accident that could have easily been the cause of this family's separation. With us today we have the Murphy family sharing their story of how, in Heather's words, the mother, perseverance and prayer made the difference. Let's take a look.
You can't tell by the way he walks that he ever was injured. But I can tell because I'm his mom.
What do you remember of March 21st of 2014?
March 21st, 2014 started out as any other day and quickly changed. My husband had wanted to work on our lawnmower to get it ready for the summer. And he had, on his way home from work, stopped and bought a battery for it, got home, put it in, was testing it out.
So as I'm making my sweep, I'm looking at my wife, and we're talking back and forth. So as I swing back to go down the hill, Andrew does sort of a baseball slide into the lawnmower. I remember seeing shreds of clothes come out the other side of the mower. I remember seeing his shoe. I heard it go through and I didn't know what else had transpired until I was able to get the mower off.
I was hysterical and saw blood, bone, and he told me to call 911. He was going to take him to the EMS station.
It was just me and Andrew, and so the whole ride to the EMS station, Andrew was yelling and screaming, and he's like, "Daddy, why did you run over me?" And you know, Daddy, it was an accident. Daddy loves you. And
3-year-old Andrew's right heel bone was completely cut off, and where skin once existed, the only thing you could see was blood, tendons, and grinded flesh down his right leg. After a few stops, Andrew was quickly transported to UNC hospitals, where they were able to assess his severe injuries.
And they came out and said that they had cleaned it. It was very extensive. He had a 3rd-degree burn. They put him in ICU for the night and then put us in the burn center the next day. It wasn't until later that we realized really how extensive his injury was, and that the doctor had gotten a call to possibly amputate his leg that night.
From the point when it all happened and you're still at the hospital, he's going through all these surgeries, what's going through your mind?
personally, I spent 12 years in the military, and I've seen a lot of injuries in my time. When I seen my son laying there, you know, and hurt, it's not the same thing. So as a parent, like I said, you never want to see your child suffer. So the first thing that you feel is anything you can do to help your son to feel better, that's what you're going to do.
What is going through your mind at this point?
Fear, concern for him, how he's gonna cope with it, how my husband's gonna cope with it, and what the future holds.
Do you think that made you feel a little better, knowing that you didn't have to receive a phone call to tell you, or you didn't receive a phone call from your husband telling you this is what's happened?
I don't have a question about that night because I saw it happen. I know it was 100% an accident.
So at any given point, at any given time, you never saw your husband differently?
No. I never blamed him. I never had any hard feelings toward him. My feelings were more of concern for him because I can't imagine being the parent on that lawnmower. The guilt, the questions, the everything.
To hear him make statements, you know, especially on the day of, you know, "Daddy, why did you do this?" And it just hurt so bad. And, you know, personally, I was blaming myself. First couple of weeks we were at the hospital. As time passed, individuals reached out to me, and I knew that, you know, it was God saying, "Hey, you know, you need to talk to somebody. You need to talk to these individuals."
Talk to me about the phone call that you received from a church member. Was that a phone call that really just changed the perception of the situation? How did that go about?
There's a lot of days that I would just walk around the hospital aimlessly, just in search of something. I don't know, just some type of comfort. So there was an individual, family friend named Jeff Godwin, very outgoing personality. He had said a joke in the beginning. At this point, I can't remember what it was, but we laughed a little bit, and then I burst into tears, and he started crying. I mean, he wasn't that guy that would break down and cry. And so for him to share that moment with me and then go on to say, you know, my daughter had been in an accident some years back, and we had gone through this, and it really, you know, devastated us, and we were kind of in the same place you guys were. It's going to be rough, but you will get through it. And then talking about how separation from the kids and how, you know, just being away from one kid is bad enough, but then feeling responsible for this kid being in the hospital, and at some point kind of shutting off your other two kids and focusing on this one, it doesn't bode well. I think that in itself opened me up a little more.
How were you able to balance that responsibility with all three, knowing that you have a son at the hospital and you have two other little ones at home?
The first 2 weeks, my husband and I both stayed at the hospital, and then we kind of had a realization that this is going to be a long-term recovery, and we have to be there for our other kids too. So we took turns. It was still difficult because we weren't a whole family, but they were still getting that love and attention. And
while you were at the hospital, you were able to speak to other families who had their children at the hospital as well.
It really put into perspective what we had to deal with and what we were facing. I remember sitting with certain families and hearing their stories, and they were saying this was their umpteenth time in the hospital, and they didn't know how much more the doctors could do. And after hearing that, I just wanted to sit back and say, yeah, I'm just visiting. I didn't want to say, oh, well, our prognosis is really good. We might go home with some limitations, but we're all going to be going home, and we're going home soon. So it was hard for me then to share my story and to say what we were going through. Whereas now we can look back and say it was a miracle, and here's what happened, and here's what God did for us.
So was it more of like the feeling of being grateful to an
Yes.
extent, knowing that my situation was a little bit better than theirs?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Did you have family at this time that was supporting you through this?
Yes.
Family, friends? How was that?
We had a lot of support. We had a friend that took my oldest son. My sister lived in Apex, and so she took my little girl most of the time we were in the hospital. Both sets of our parents were phenomenal in helping just give us someone to talk to, or someone to, they'd come to the hospital and sit so that we could just get out of the room for a little bit. Lots of our church family did the same, and just friends. They all pulled together and did anything and everything that they felt would help us.
With the support of doctors and nurses at UNC hospitals, along with their family and God, Andrew made a full recovery and was finally able to go home after 41 days. Overjoyed to be back together, the Murphy family began to pick up where they had left off with a few adjustments. What do you have in your leg?
A compression sock.
A compression sock? What do you use it for?
My leg to feel better.
For your leg to feel better? Do you remember what happened? Can you tell us what happened?
I got ran over by a lawnmower.
Yeah? Do you like to run? Do you like to play sports? Yeah? What do you like to play?
Basketball, baseball.
You like to play basketball and baseball?
Soccer, mostly sports.
Yeah? And you were telling me earlier that you want to be a basketball player? A famous basketball player? You can do it. You're definitely going to do it. I know you can. Do you feel good about your leg? Your leg feels good?
sometimes and big times.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean?
Sometimes it hurts and sometimes it don't.
What do you do when it hurts?
I put little cream on it.
Is it Eucerin cream? Yeah, Eucerin cream? I know that too. Do you feel bad that you have a scar? No, that's good. That's good. You let little people know that it's okay to be different, right? Because I have scars too. You want to see them?
Which one?
Just one? I have scars here on my arm. Look. And it's all okay. You want to touch it? No. It's the same one that you have in your leg too. And it's gonna be all right, right? Right? You're gonna be good. And it's gonna, hopefully the pain is gonna diminish as time goes. And you're not gonna feel as bad, right? Right? Well, you do good in school. You keep playing sports. So that maybe one day I'll see you on national television.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. Can I get a hug? Yeah. Thank you, Andrew. It was good seeing you. It was good meeting you. Okay? You can take it off. Okay.
Go Heels!
Oh, yes! Go Heels! How was that coming back home and being a family once again with the situation that he was going through?
It was an adjustment period, but I think we were all on the same page. We were a close family before, so it was a little easier for us to get back to that, but we did have a new normal to incorporate new things in our lives. But I think we've come over the biggest hurdles, and so now we're back to more your normal 3 kids, mom and dad, trying to figure out how we're all going to live in the same house.
Oh, yeah, and it honestly just takes time and to adjust to the new normal that you guys have now. But I think that the most beautiful part of this all is the way that you guys have been able to handle it and have allowed God to really just work his way through this. I commend you both for being able to do that, because I personally know some families who have been through not your particular situation, but just a family tragedy that has made them go separate ways. And I want to give you guys the moment now to those families who have a strain. What are words that you offer them?
Every situation's different, but in the tragedy, you have to communicate with your partner. You have to be open. Ultimately, we had to follow our heart, and we had to do what was best for us and our family. And I think if you do that, then everything will work out like it's supposed to.
I just want to say that, God is really a lean-to for this family. Prayer works.
Absolutely.
It gives you a sense of guidance, direction. And I can truly say that God has really blessed us in this endeavor. You can't blame yourself. That's the first hurdle to get over. Once you accept that and move on and realize that God is in control of what's going on, it just makes it that much easier. You have to talk to people. You have to reach out. There are people out there that have been through the same thing, and that's what's going to help you get through.
Awesome, awesome, amazing, beautiful. That is definitely what makes the difference. Talking to someone who has been through a similar situation and allowing yourself to hear what they have to tell you can and will help you overcome too. Awesome. To the Murphy family, thank you so much for allowing us your time and your story. And to little Andrew, we wish you well in your recovery, in life, and everything that you decide to pursue. And we know that you're going to do amazing things. Thank you so much, and we're very proud of you. Never forget that, okay? And to you all, our amazing audience, we have some news to share in the coming weeks. Please be on the lookout for that. It's a decision that we all came together and made as a team to benefit the show in the long run. Thank you so much for all the support. All the best from me, myself, Cruz, Megan, and Margarita, and we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.